And that gives the family members permission to touch, both before the person has died and even after they've died.
Sometimes, Bo, for instance, when I'm feeling myself starting to think of him as this other person because he's dying, like, he's like crossed some line, he's somewhere, and the truth is, like, he's not. He's just the same as I am. He's in a different position, and I think that's what I'm learning here. I quit looking at them as this other kind of person. They're living just like I'm living.
So it's not just you're the caregiver and he's the care receiver.
It's totally like a friendship. Most of his life I've had no part of, and it's very different from mine. But for this time, it's a really great, close relationship. You want another pillow? I mean, how could I couldn't get that experience any other way. I mean, I don't do anything that equates to that.
For me, this is the great tragedy, that this experience is available to each of us and to the person who's dying. And we pass this by in our life, you know. Rilke has that wonderful line in one of his poems where he says, love and death are the two great gifts that we pass on. And usually they are passed on unopened. You know? Find a spot. Those are beautiful. Aren't they beautiful? You can never have enough flowers, right? Here, let's put it. Excuse me. When someone is dying, or when someone has died, we don't call 911. There's no emergency when this person has died. The first thing we do is just sit still. Then we start this old, ancient process that we've been doing for hundreds of years with each other, and that is bathing the body. And then oftentimes what will happen after this process is we'll all sit around the bed, quite naturally, and just begin to tell stories.
Thanks, Bo. I'm gonna very much miss it, though. Miss Bo here. I'm gonna miss you here. On my birthday, somehow he found it was my birthday, and I was volunteering that day. And he had just had a cigarette, and it would have been kind of exhausting. But he said he wanted to have a birthday cigarette for me, which I thought was like. And that was the last time we had a cigarette together.
We talk about things, and he said, "I love you, Martha, like a family." And I said, "I love you too, Bo, as a family." One day he was sitting out on the porch, and I came back to a meeting, and I went and knocked on the door. I said, "How you doing? Old man, get up and come out of that cold." He said, "That's Mr. Old Man to you." So he's been Mr. Old Man ever since, and I've been Miss Old Grandma, because I had my granddaughter over here, and in some way she said Grandma, and he's called me Miss Old Grandma ever since. He really showed me respect, and I loved him for it. So, Mr. Old Man, I'll fill your present as long as I am able to. I'll miss him. I will definitely miss him.
I actually think what we're doing is very ordinary. I think we're just ordinary people doing this very simple work. Hospice care is growing in leaps and bounds in this country. We have our baby boom generation that's sandwiched in between their aging parents and their young children. And they're becoming aware of their own fragility as well. And this populace of people will demand these kinds of services. Unfortunately, still in this culture, it is a terribly difficult job to take care of someone who's dying. There are financial hardships. There's a lack of information about services, proper pain control, and the like. People oftentimes have to leave their work or find other ways of caring for that loved one at home. It's very, very difficult.
Do you need something to drink? You okay? There you go. Come on, sweetie. Let's go outside. Stay with Daddy.
I've been saying.
Since I've been at the hospice, there have been 6 deaths. Bo, Don, Tanya, Elizabeth, Joyce, and Julia. Seems like a lot in the last month. Moving a little faster than I am comfortable with. And you would think that it's a hospice. This is what they're, there for. I'm still always surprised. So.
Everybody got close to Julia because part of it is she required so much care, so we got to spend so much time with her. And I got a call that she had really declined quite a bit. But she died before I got on my shift. And it was really one of those times where expect the unexpected was, well, you need to pay attention to that. It was really sad. I was shocked.
Patrick was in Hawaii, and so he got on a plane and came the very next morning. And her other children came also.
It's not the death that's hard, it's the fact that the person isn't any longer living.
You don't just have this one loss, like when you want to tell her something or show her something and she's not there for it.
You think you got it all together. No. There's absolutely nothing you can do to truly prepare you for basically 3 years that my mother was going to die from this tumor. And I still wasn't ready for it.
When there's a death in the community, when someone you love dies, it feels like an emergency. We get caught between the will to do whatever can be done and the will to do nothing at all. And anybody who's ever had someone they love dies knows this feeling between being frozen and being frenzied. We got to do something. What do we owe the dying? Witness. Being there. Tending to it. Whether it's their dying or their death, I think we owe them witness to say they are, this is, they were.